welcome back to the Toal Tribe channel. I'm Laurient.
And I'm Mike. As you can see, we're both in our denim today.
We look like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears at the VMAs.
This looks like an NSYNC album cover.
It's been a minute since you've sat down and done a video with me.
It's been quite some time.
I feel like it's been a while anyway.
You guys missed us. Well, me.
You. I've been around. So a couple days ago on my Instagram, I asked for some content suggestions, what you guys wanted to see up on the channel. And one of the videos that was requested was a video about how our relationship, how our marriage has changed since becoming parents.
Yeah.
So it's no secret, like once you become parents, like things definitely change in your relationship, in your life even. And I thought it was kind of a good idea because like while it's probably the same in a lot of aspects for most couples, there's also probably things that are different from couple to couple about things that change in their relationship and lives once they do become parents. So I thought it'd kind of be fun for us to share. And when I actually asked Mike, like, what do you think changed in our relationship? He gave me the same answer he always does every time I ask like a deep question, where he'll be like, I don't think anything's changed. But then once we actually start talking about it and I kind of give him prompts like, so you think everything's the same, you think we still do whatever, like then it'll start to come out.
Right.
And you'll be like,
because
well, I guess.
Who really just sits around and thinks about that stuff? I don't. I just go on about my life and I do my daily stuff.
Such a man.
Sorry.
It's a man thing.
I don't know what to tell you.
So after doing some talking, we came up with like 5 main ways that our relationship has changed since we've become parents, which by the way is still very new to us. We are fairly new parents. Our son is 2 months old, so it's not like we've been at this for a really long time. And I'm sure over the years like this will change depending on the season that we're in, but right now these are all kind of true for the season that we're currently in. This is like the new parent season.
Yeah, but is this like fall season, summer season?
You're so annoying.
So I think the first thing is that changed is we have less time for each other. Mm-hmm. But when we do have time together, I feel like we appreciate it more. Not that we didn't appreciate it before. Yeah. We appreciate it more now because we don't really have tons of time. It's just you and me together.
Yeah. And so
we're either cleaning the house or we're cleaning the baby's butt.
Yeah.
We're just always cleaning.
Yeah.
We don't have time to sit down together.
Yeah, definitely not as much. But we've been a lot more intentional about like pulling those moments out of our day-to-day life and like making them count. Like yesterday we timed dinner so perfectly. Where he was down for a nap and it was nice out, so we sat down and had dinner, just the 2 of us, and we actually ordered like DoorDash, and so it was like a nice dinner that we didn't have to cook.
It was nice.
And we got to enjoy it, and we had a great conversation. And so we've just been, you know, making the most of that time and having good conversations in that time instead of like very surface conversations the way we normally did over the last, 4.5 years of us being together, just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
So the next one I feel like is kind of like an obvious thing that probably happens for most people, but becoming parents has like created a complete shift in the way we view things and like our priorities in just life in general. I think there's less focus now on things and acquiring things, and there's more focus on family. We've talked about it on the channel before. Mike and I are both natural spenders. While I am frugal in very many aspects of life, there are just things that I don't like to spend money on. There are other aspects of life where I'm quite frivolous. I can easily go into Target and drop an obscene amount of money without even blinking, and then not feel bad about it at all. And I just, like, to me, that's just not important. Like, yes, in quarantine, I've had to log on to Target's website many times. Typically what I'm shopping for are things for the baby. And, it's just not as important to me that I have the most up-to-date wardrobe, or that, we're going on luxury vacations, or that I'm getting, a new Louis Vuitton bag.
Can't go on vacation.
We can't go on anywhere right now, but you know what I mean? Like, even when we think about the future and we do like our future planning, it's not like, we're not like, oh, let's go to a luxury resort in Puerto Vallarta. We're like, Josiah would be bored there. Like, where are we going to go where we can keep a baby entertained? So our focus has just shifted, and instead of thinking about, all of the things that we want in the future, a bigger house, nicer cars, like whatever, we've kind of focused on, okay, well, we know that family building is going to be an expensive venture for us. Obviously, we struggle with unexplained infertility, and so Josiah was adopted. And in order to try to conceive, we would have to undergo either, you know, IVF or other infertility treatments, and so that gets pricey if we wanted to adopt again. So we know that these are all things that we want. We know that we want to have a few more children, and so all of that's expensive. So we've had to think about, you know, putting all of that on the back burner for like our family. And now that we have Josiah, like, family just seems so much more important. Yeah. And we're just so much more excited to like just continue to build that family.
Right. So I think ever since we became parents, I think we looked at each other in a different kind of light. You look a lot hotter, I must say. I don't know, just seeing you having a baby and seeing you do mommy things has been pretty hot.
That's hot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'll take it. I mean, guys, we all know whenever you see a dad out and about and he's got, you know, a baby or his kids with him and you just see him being like a good doting father, it just kind of like melts your heart and your ovaries simultaneously. So of course, like when I see Mike, you know, taking care of Josiah and, you know, snuggling him and talking to him, like it's adorable. It really is. And it makes you look at your partner in just like a whole new light. Like, you know, he's always been a great fur baby dad to the dogs and everything, but like seeing him with a baby is just cute, guys. It's just a whole different level to your relationship with your spouse or your partner that you didn't have before. So I don't know how common the next one is, because I feel like the beginning of parenthood for a lot of people can be really stressful and cause them to maybe fight more, especially like with the sleep deprivation and everything. But I can honestly say that Mike and I fight less now that Josiah is here. And there could be like a few reasons for that. Like one is that like our house is small and he's a baby, so he's like always around us and we don't really want to fight in front of him. Not that he knows what's going on, but I just feel like he can pick up on vibes.
My thing is, who has time for that?
And the other thing is like we just don't really have time to fight. That's true.
If
like
we're constantly taking care of the baby and doing
like
around.
in the moments that we do have time to spend one-on-one with each other, fighting typically isn't what we want to do. It's not really the focus. So even if there are things like throughout the day that I want to address with him that have bothered me, like I probably just won't pick that moment to do it, because like that might be the only moment that we get all day to just be together and be intentional about our time together. So we fight less, and the fights I think are probably shorter than typically. Not that we were ever the kind of people to like drag out a fight, because I feel like we do kind of bounce back from things pretty quickly, but I feel like they're even shorter now, because it's just like you just kind of roll your eyes and you're just like, this isn't important in the grand scheme of things. Like this is so,
most of them are stupid.
It's so minuscule, we shouldn't even need to be worrying about this.
I've also noticed that you became more sensitive, which you've never been sensitive at all in our existence.
Yeah, in our relationship.
You've always been like, you know,
tough,
you know, do your own, whatever. You don't need me for nothing.
That's not
like,
true.
No, I know. But like, I had to adjust, because like
the way that
I'll make little comments that I don't think is really gonna bother you because you're this tough chick, right? And then I'll make a comment and you'll like get real sensitive about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, where's the tough girl that I used to know? What happened?
So yeah, that's probably true.
Right.
I've always had like a little bit of like a tougher exterior, but lately, like since becoming a mom, I've just kind of become a little bit more sensitive. Sometimes I feel bad, like I'm sorry. He'll say something that he just thinks is a joke, and then he'll hear me like softly crying in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, why are you so upset? And you know what it is? It's just that being a mom can be hard. It has its difficult moments. And I talked about it in Josiah's 1 month update. I talked about how like I've been coping with being a mom, and how, you know, there are moments where you do find yourself becoming frustrated when your baby's been crying for 2 hours and you can't make them stop. You become frustrated, and then you're frustrated with yourself for being frustrated at the baby, and you're like, you think you're such a bad parent. You're like, I'm a bad mom. Like, I can't believe that like I just wasn't the best parent in that moment. And that's hard. And so I'm hard on myself when it comes to the kind of mother I am and the kind of parent I am. And I'm home all day. And so I feel like because I'm home all day with him, I should be able to get so much done around the house, but obviously that's not realistic when you have a newborn. And so I beat myself up over the lack of things I get done around the house. And I obviously want to be the best wife at the end of the day. So, you know, when he comes home and makes a joke about having to eat leftovers, I take it personal because I feel like you're telling me like I'm a bad wife, or I've been home all day, why don't I have something else made? And of course, that's not how he means it. Right. He's just joking, but I've just become sensitive because I'm just trying to be the best I can be at everything.
But realistically, you're gonna fail at one of those things. You can't do everything. And so, you know, I try to have grace with myself and understand that, you know, there are going to be days where Josiah naps really well and I'm able to get a lot done around the house. And those are good days. Those are like wow days. But then there are also going to be days where nothing gets done, but the baby is alive at the end of the day. And there's food to be eaten. And that's the best I can do. And I have to have grace with myself in those moments. And so Mike has kind of had to learn a new way to approach me because I cry now. Big crybaby. I don't know who cries more. You or Josiah?
And I actually just thought of like one more. I thought it was only 5, but that last part made like I had like a build off. I have like a 5A. So I think like the additional thing that I didn't really think of before, but we've talked about, is just that like being a parent makes you want to constantly be better.
Yeah.
You want to be better.
You just want to be a better person.
You want to be a better person at everything. Like you know that like he's a baby now, so he doesn't know what's going on. But like as he gets older, like he's gonna be watching you, and just the same way that you pick up things that your parents did when you were little, like he's gonna do the same thing. And so we want to set the best example and be the best example, and not be those parents that are like, you know, do as I say, not as I do. Like you want to be that example that your child follows.
Right.
And you want to give them all of the things that you didn't have, you know, and not even necessarily material things, like
memories.
You want to give them memories. You want to give them, you know, Mike and I both come from, you know, parents that were divorced. And so that's something we know we want to never have to put our children through. We want to make sure that we're always working on our marriage and our relationships so that we're strong, so that we can be strong for our children. And so you just always want to be the best version of yourself, and you just want to show up, and that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
It is. But anything's possible, right?
But when you just look into their like little eyes, it's just it's so worth it. It's so worth it. All of the change and all of the growth, as hard and as uncomfortable as it can be, is worth it.
Right.
Now that we're parents, it's been the best job I've ever had, being a mom. Yeah, it's like my favorite. It's my favorite role.
Yeah.
Favorite role in life. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave it a thumbs up. You can leave any questions or comments or content suggestions for us down below in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, you can click that little notification bell down below. It'll let you know whenever we post a video, which is on Mondays and Thursdays. And we will see you guys in our next one. Bye.
Ciao.